have here one of the greatest musicians in the DC area. We got him to finally come out. The phenomenal musician himself, Kendrick. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh man, we got a lot to talk about, man. Thanks for being here. You are a person that many have looked up to for many years now. You've been a man of character and integrity. We appreciate that. And of course, I got to ask you about your longevity at Mount Pleasant. But the first question I want to know is, how'd you get started in music?
Man, I think for me, like most musicians, started playing by ear, and parents had an upright piano in the house, and I think I just gravitated towards it because it was the one thing that made the most noise, I think. So, but I had the ability to play by ear and kind of hear things on the TV, radio, and just kind of go to the piano, and I just had the gift to be able to play it. And I think at the age of 5, my parents tried to get me to take piano lessons. I say try because the instructor at the time didn't take students that young. And so I guess they finally convinced her on the telephone to just at least to hear me play. And so they took me over there on Capitol Hill. And so she heard me play, and she decided to take me as a student. So that's when I first started my formal training at the age of 5, and it was classical music. Which I didn't really like. I just had to be honest with you.
What gospel musician does?
I mean, so, but you know, I stuck with it, and I took the formal training from her all the way up until the age of 16. Went to Duke Ellington, attended there high school, and was offered a four-year scholarship at Howard University for classical music. Through Dr. Raymond Jackson, and so I guess it did kind of pay off.
Right, sure.
But yeah.
Were your parents musicians?
Actually, no. Nobody in my family that I can.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
how about the mailman? No, just playing.
you are this boy. He's sick. You came out. I mean, your parents had you, and nobody in the house had musical talent.
Well, I'm the only child, so.
Okay, well, it was just you.
Yeah.
But you came out right though, didn't you?
I got that same story though. I really got that same story.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Being the only child and nobody really else in my family.
Is that right?
So yeah.
Okay.
So you native Washingtonian all the way.
Yes, sir. Yes,
what high
sir.
school?
Yes, sir. Duke Ellington.
You were Duke Ellington? Okay, I'm sorry. I had to ask again. You know what I mean?
Where'd you grow up though?
In D.C. Northeast.
From Northeast,
Brooklyn area.
Brooklyn,
yeah.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Northeast. So after you got out of college, you were already playing in church at the time?
That's an interesting question because I think about the age of 15 or 16, the Alabama Baptist Church, Beverly Burke, she hired me as a musician over there.
Wow, okay.
And the Roger Letts Intermediate Choir Ensemble. And at the time, I think Steve Lawrence had just left. And so I came behind him. And I think my first week there, my first rehearsal, it was baptismal by fire because I didn't know how to teach parts, and I was under the impression I was coming in just to play, you know, just to accompany. And so I guess everybody's looking at me as to, you know, what we're going to do next. And so I guess that whole rehearsal was just basically spent just going over material that they had already sung back in the day.
Right.
And so, but
this is at 15.
Yes, yeah. And so
well, at least you're mature enough to handle it.
Well, the next week, next rehearsal, I was coming in teaching parts, 3-part harmony, and so I figured it out. So because I mean, it was either that or I was just going home. I mean, so.
But isn't it something that the church will advertise that they need a musician? But when you get there, oh no, we need you to direct.
Yeah, that was not stated.
But you just said you just wanted me to be a musician. Like that I can do, but now you want to do all this other stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. So that was definitely something.
Let me ask you a question. How did you cultivate the sound? Because my first experience of you was when I was in high school, and I believe I was probably 10th, 11th grade, and you came over there with Gary Gillespie and I want to say Cliff Jones and a few other guys. Edification. And I mean, y'all rocked the joint like the gospel guy, and we was like, wow, like you know, it was incredible because we had never seen that.
Yeah. Well, honestly, man, from a child, man, I honestly. Classical music was okay and gospel music was okay, but my love and my passion was R&B.
Okay.
It has always been R&B.
Come on in now.
And I mean, I used to sneak records into the house listening to One Nation Under the Groove.
Yeah, okay.
And And so it wasn't so much what they were saying, but it was just the production and
Right.
just the sound of the music that I was gravitating towards. I mean, I remember one time I was upstairs listening to some R&B, and my mom came into the room. I wasn't allowed to listen to R&B,
Okay.
so she came in and said, "Boy, don't." She called it boogie woogie at the time. She said, "Boy, don't be in here listening to that boogie woogie." And so, but yeah, I continued to listen to it because that was just something that I just really love, and I incorporated that into my production because I honestly wanted to be more of a producer than anything else. And even fast forward into the my project that I did, Nation of Holiness. It was never my desire to be an artist.
I remember that project.
I really just wanted to showcase my production, kind of like back in the day, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis did with Sounds of Blackness. But to the convincing of my manager, he said, "Man, you need to go ahead and put your name on this,"
Right.
and so that kind of evolved into that whole thing.
Sort of like that back on the block did with Quincy Jones.
Right, exactly.
That was a good CD. That was a good CD. Well, I mean,
was.
did we have CDs in? It was a tape. It was a good CD.
They had CDs and tapes.
CDs and tapes.
That's how long it was.
But it had the late Carlos Barrett on. I mean, that was a good CD, and that
I
was.
think I got over it through Carlos. I think it was.
They was playing "That's What Jesus Is to Me" on the radio. It was like,
Yeah,
who is it? Who did this song?
And that's interesting in itself because that song, I really didn't want to put that song on the project, if you can believe it.
I can believe it because there's always a story like that. The best one, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I spent all my time doing all the rest of the song. I spent countless hours on production of every song but that song. And I mean, I just did enough just to, get it up on tape and just to, get it on the project. And I guess it was just God's way of saying, "Hey, man, look, let me just remove you to show you,
There you go.
that." Because had it been any other song that got played on the radio, I definitely would have been taking credit for it.
Right.
So the radio picked that song, or did you say this is my single?
Well, back in the day, I think a lot of people just gave radio their CD, and
They chose.
the song that
You was shocked,
yeah.
weren't you?
And I was like, "Why are they playing this song?"
Sunshine on the cloud.
Yeah.
I remember.
It was beautiful though, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing. Appreciate it.
Did you redo it?
Well, actually, Mount Pleasant recorded.
Right. I wanted to ask you. Did you? Yeah.
And the late Carlos
He
Barrett,
came up- he
he
came
came up
before.
and redid it with the choir. And,
Right.
I mean, it was just like it was back in the day when we did it with the group, man. So it was definitely a blessing.
Wow. So, just real quickly, tell us about. You've been in Mount Pleasant for how long?
I came in December of 1999. So
1999.
It's been a while.
It's 2018, and you've been working with Pastor Terry Streeter there at the Mount Pleasant Baptist Church. What's been the secret sauce to your success with? Well, I said something. What's been the secret sauce to your success with Pastor Terry Streeter?
Well, I won't say it's anything special or a secret, but I think Terry Street is just a joy to work with and work under. He gives me the ability to, he doesn't handcuff me in any way in terms of my gift. And he trusts me enough that I'm not going to be reckless with my decisions in terms of decisions I make. Because I always have the best interest of the music department. And I think I've learned that from him because he's always pushing others as opposed to himself. So.
Right, and you are an interesting person to me because you're not like this larger than life character that stands when you walk into the church. You're a real reserved guy, but you're powerful. How have you managed to run a music ministry, kind of being, person that sits down at the keyboard and plays and things like that? I mean, how have you been able to gain the respect of the congregation and the music ministry?
Well, I think it's important to have, you're not an island, to have a great team around you. And so I have a great group of guys, from musicians to directors. And so, but we all get along together and we all respect one another. And so I think that's
important.
Yeah.
Shout out to your musicians there. You said Ronnie Lindsay was there, plays the bass, right?
Yeah, Ronnie Lindsay,
Andre
Roberts.
Yeah, and then Tawana.
Tawana Reinhardt.
Tawana.
She's been with me for at least about 14 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it takes a great team, and you got one over there.
Yeah, I'm blessed.
Yeah, let's talk about your new venture. You're not just saying the musician songwriter. You saying the
Multiple streams.
multiple streams of income. But yes, let's talk about it now.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. A little less than 2 weeks, I'm having a grand opening for my business, Samuel Kendrick Bespoke. Custom tailoring for men, luxury goods, from leather goods, shoes, custom ties, not just doing suits. I used to be known for just doing suits, but I kind of expanded my arena, and so I'm very excited about that. And so from 5 to 9, if people want to come out and have a good time, see what I'm offering, it's you can go on SamuelKendrickBespoke.com. The new website will be up by Thursday or Friday of this week, and you can get all the information there.
We definitely gonna put it out there, y'all. Sam Kendrick is opening up his own shop, custom tailored suits, and it's gonna be by appointment only, right?
By appointment only.
And where's the shop at?
Well, if you're familiar with the Arlington, Pentagon City area, it's literally 1 block from that. You can literally walk over from South Fern Street.
Hey man, that's awesome, man! Congratulations,
Yes,
congratulations.
Thank you.
Are you looking to? I mean, is there any expansion beyond that? Or
Yeah, definitely. I want to expand into fine fragrances, things of that nature.
Come on ahead.
So
Ed.
it's not just suits.
Okay.
So it's been 4 years in the making.
So I'm a conservative dude. Alex, he has. I'm not sure what color that is. I'm bad with colors. I know red, white, blue.
Salmon.
It's salmon.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, how would you? I mean, to break me out of my mode. And my wife says, she doesn't know about me in a salmon jacket. But how do you see somebody like me?
I mean, it'll work for you, man. You just, you don't have to go over the top with it.
Okay.
Man. You can kind of tone it down with a white shirt, man. Something that's neutral. But
I don't want the old ladies to tackle me at the church when I go in. I can't do too much.
Okay, well you might not.
Yeah.
Any future musical endeavors for you?
Actually, just being at Mount Pleasant right now. That's kind of where I stand. I'm not doing too much in terms of studio work. I have a great business partner, Marcus Johnson.
Yeah, Marcus is phenomenal.
Yeah, and so anybody that comes to me with any projects, I've kind of say, hey man,
that way.
Have you heard of Marcus Johnson, right?
Right, so yeah.
That's crazy.
You got to work a great working relationship. Yeah.
And what's going on down the pike for the next month or two at church?
Well, Mount Pleasant is always busy. Actually, they're celebrating their 100th centennial
anniversary,
and they've been doing that
all year. Yep.
Yeah, and so I think at the end of the year to celebrate everything, we're bringing in Kevin Lemons.
And High Calling.
Yeah. So it's always something.
Yeah. So, last but not least, there are a lot of young musicians out here. Some of them already have positions in churches. Some of them are trying to be artists. Some of them already are artists. They're trying to grow and matriculate to something higher. What is your advice to a young musician right now in the DMV area and abroad, and they're trying to get ahead?
Sure. I would think the most important thing for me is for most musicians. I mean, a lot of musicians are talented and have a lot of great ability, but you need to work on your relationships with people because I think that's key. If we can get the relationship side to come up to where the ability side is and to match that, I think you can be doing great things in terms of that. So that's what I encourage them to spend more time developing their relationships, because I've walked in the doors in arenas that it wasn't because of my ability, it was definitely because of my relationship.
Sure.
So I think that's key.
Right. Let me ask you something fun, and then we're gonna let you go. One, outside of recording, I know the recording in Mount Pleasant was something great and mighty, but can you remember an experience you had at Mount Pleasant that was just over the top wonderful? You walked out of church and you said, wow, that was awesome. And can you remember an experience that you had, you was like, oh my gosh, I hope that never happens again? Anything that comes to your mind?
Nothing I can talk about. That never happens again. I mean, the spirit is always high at Mount Pleasant from Sunday to Sunday. Reverend Street, as you know, is a phenomenal.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. It's a phenomenal storyteller too. He can find a story.
That's right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I had the pleasure of working with him for the citywide revival, and he knows how to run a room full of preachers, and that's not an easy thing to do, especially when things get a little heated.
Egos.
So it was so. I mean, congratulations to both you and him. Of course, it takes people to make things successful and choirs, but leadership is everything. And you of him have found a way to make it work, and that's why Mount Pleasant is still doing well, even in a gentrified location where parking is rough.
Yeah, right.
You all are still thriving. So thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
We look forward to the opening of the new store.
Thank you, man.
For more information on how to become a guest on Real Talk with Phillip Carter, or for general inquiries, please email us at realtalkwithphilipcarter@yahoo.com. Tune in next Monday for another edition of Real Talk with Philip Carter.